I actually have an argument against infinite regress. Do you know the Grim
Okay,
Reaper
go ahead.
paradox? I can't formulate it now, but I can send you something from William Lane Craig, which is pretty good.
William Lane Craig.
Yeah, you can. I don't like a lot of his stuff because on some stuff he's very good, on other stuff he's very bad. I don't like the Kalam. The Grim Reaper paradox.
The sniper. What is it? The sniper. Like, can you just like tell me what it is?
Oh, I actually no. It's pretty complicated. It's like 8. What's it called?
It's
like 8.
Grim Reaper sniper.
Yeah, Grim Reaper paradox. I can send you a website on it.
Yeah, I mean, I can give you the refutation for Grim Reaper paradox. I mean, I have a video over here. It can be.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, you're actually like well prepared.
I don't know. I don't really care too much about the Grim Reaper paradox because it's not the one that people bring up. But wait, let me just find it.
Oh well, I don't know. Yeah, you were talking to Alan. I don't know. I can just send it in the chat, and you guys can keep talking.
No, I mean, I don't think this is going to be a very productive conversation. But let me find this video.
I have been asking you like direct questions because I want to know what your viewpoint is on it. You know.
Yeah.
You don't need to be so defensive. Like I'm cool.
I'm
Okay?
not defensive at all.
With respect, she told you her position multiple times.
I have to take some time.
Okay, Alan, did you make your point?
Well, I don't think I have the chance to make my point. Go ahead.
Just lay it out, bro. You do have a chance.
I do.
What do you want to do with her?
No, look, my thing is like I see it from a point that there is a beginning, you know? And if there is no beginning, then then you have an infinite regress, which doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, I guess I can't convince.
Yeah, you got to light her up. So basically, Beatrice, how is it that the Quran is discussing theories that are only prevalent today?
So when like
Explain.
you're very it's very convenient for you to take some sort of interpretation of the Quran and like
What's your
it just
interpretation of it? What's your
the
interpretation?
universe.
It says that all life is
why do
from
you
water.
keep interrupting? You just okay. Listen, Navid. I'm gonna be very respectful. I'm not gonna call you stupid, but if you're gonna keep interrupting me, I'm not gonna have a conversation with you. Cheers.
Just answer the questions.
Yeah, the expanding universe verse, right? Like I don't think that. So there's like, so you're just making it seem like it's talking about the Big Bang. I don't believe it's talking about the Big Bang. But...
So it says, do the unbelievers not realize that the heavens and the earth used to be one solid mass that we exploded into existence, and from water we made all living things? That sounds like the Big Bang to me.
Yeah, but agnosticism is different.
Miracle refutations. I'm just going to go into this server. I'm going to send you a PDF and you can read it.
Why don't you just engage with my conversation? Like
because I've engaged with this exact
You
point.
didn't. You don't address it. You don't have anything to say.
Not you. Like I've engaged with the expanding universe.
I didn't even talk about expanding universe. I talked about
you. You're not this like only person. Are you talking about which one? Which verse are you talking about?
2130.
2130. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do the unbelievers not realize that the heavens and the earth used to be one solid mass that we exploded into existence? That sounds like the Big Bang. Even if you want to reject the Big Bang, how is it the Quran is discussing a theory that's prevalent today, 1,400 years ago?
I'm gonna read the actual Quran because I don't trust the Quran. 1 second.
We can even look at the Arabic. Hisham, can you recite the Arabic for us?
I mean, sure. Are you Jim?
Hey, just come closer to your mic, man. Just come closer to your mic.
Of course. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I can hear you. Go ahead.
أولم يرى الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حيا أفلا يؤمنون. And the specific they were one mass and we exploded them. كانتا رتقا, which means they were one mass. ففتقناهما, which means we separated them.
Yeah, it's actually more than just a separation. It's an explosion. It's an inflation. It's a bursting.
Inflation. A
That's
burst.
right. This is all in the list of the root meanings. The range of meanings for the root word, which by the way only occurs once in the Quran, is all of these. So explain to me how someone in the desert in the 7th century could make a statement like this.
And this doesn't like disprove that. I don't know. Yeah, there was a singularity expanded, but like how did the singularity come to be? Like I don't know.
I don't
Like,
think it
know,
needs to be that complex. This is in the 7th century Arabia. You understand?
Okay, and I mean, this could just like they could just have like a vague idea that like there was some sort of explosion.
It's not
and
a
it was-
vague idea. And the following
Yeah,
sentence is even
This
more
is like
clear. It
not
says,
enough. Yeah, I don't have to believe this is the Big Bang. It's like just
yeah,
a
it
vague
says from
statement.
water. Yeah, it says from water we created all living things. Why does someone in the desert need to know this?
Yeah, like stuff being like together and like then it was separate. Like that was like a very common.
You're not going to
like,
address
it's-
anything I'm saying. You're
Yeah,
not
I'm
answering
telling
my
you,
question.
this is pretty prevalent. This notion that there was an explosion, there was like some sort of separation. It was a pretty common notion back then, and
All
like
right.
logic had told me that Greeks had notions of water being the basis of life. So it's not like a foreign
How
concept.
about,
Like Greeks
how
always.
about, yeah. All right, fine. How about you didn't want to talk about water being the origin
There's one thing that's not
Yeah.
addressed is the fact that it's like, look, how is it possible that the Quran consistently gets it right? It's like, okay, there's all these competing
Come on.
hypotheses. It just happens that the Quran picks the correct ones. Like, if you
Yeah,
put
And
like,
there's not
let's say there's a
one.
50%, let's say there's a 50%,
Ideas.
there's a 50%
Yeah.
probability. Like, why didn't it come up with concepts that again have been like long rejected that were considered time orthodoxy?
I think the Quran picked up some like concepts that were already like I don't know, kind of prevalent, and they can have like
Can
a
you show me
wider
that
range.
2130 is prevalent, like at that time? Can you prove that? 7th
Yeah,
century
like
Arabia and the backwaters
Greeks.
of Arabia. These weren't Greeks, like these are Arabs. So it's like, okay,
Yeah, I mean, I
you have
don't
this
know. I don't
isolated
consider it like.
Bedouin desert people, right? And we know what their ideology is because
She
we have the
doesn't
Hadith.
understand. There's no university. There's no like formal education.
But
There's none of
look at
that
this,
stuff.
like in the Hadith, right? We see, and this is, keep in mind, this is hundreds of years later. We see where their scientific understanding was, and it's nonsense. All right, but the Quran doesn't contain any of that. That's a peculiarity. Like, why didn't it pick up any of these, mores and norms?
That's a really
from,
good point. So in the Quran, it says that the man's seminal fluid, the sperm, decides the baby's gender. But in the Hadith, it says the sex position determines the gender. Which one's more scientifically accurate?
I'll just count. Why don't you just post it yourself, bro? There you go.
Are you gonna address anything, or are you ready to
I'm like
submit?
posting stuff in the side chat. Just like look at it. Stop speed running the arguments. First of all.
Navid, I once made these arguments
the wrong
against a
chat,
friend
by the way.
also, who I gave like him the miracles of the Quran also, and they have a lot of excuses against it. Even like even went to a point where they said, yeah, but how can you verify that was written at the time? Like you need to have the essence right before you can move on to that point.
Yeah, I believe
And
Beatrice was the one who said that. We were saying, hey, if you walked into a classroom and saw some, complicated theoretical physics written on the board, you'd naturally understand that it was an intelligent life that did that. She said maybe it was a monkey.
yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, you weren't there.
I mean, the what it always comes down to is this aspect that, as a designer, it's a coincidence, because you can always write off something. Oh, it's all a coincidence. Oh, it's all a coincidence, right? Like atheists are just coincidence theorists. It's like
You can
everything's
be
just
like
a
a
coincidence.
necessitarian, right? You can believe that everything's necessary. That wouldn't be a coincidence. It's absolutely necessary. Like there's necessitarian.
Yeah, but what are you?
What am I? What's my epistemology?
Coincidence,
I don't
coincidence theorist.
Everything.
Yeah, that's
Everything's a
all.
coincidence.
Who's Alan Spencer? I mean Spacer. Oh, what's
Yo.
wrong with you?
No, I'm just, if you're saying you're agnostic, you're kind of everything. Everything is possible, right? I'm not lying.
You're like no, that's not what I mean when I say I'm agnostic. When I say I'm agnostic, I mean I'm suspending my belief on that particular matter. That doesn't mean everything's possible.
Oh, okay. But there are multiple options though, still.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
the
suspending
sensible.
my.
We don't believe in Jesus as God here, so. Yeah, it's just the sensible conclusion is like, look, we're not here just by mere coincidence. We're way over engineered for all this. The world is way too perfectly designed for all this. Someone who shows up in this reality and it says, "Oh yeah, this is just the way it always
Yeah,
is." We have
intelligent
cars,
design doesn't mean.
we have magic,
Oh,
devices that we can
awesome.
talk to and communicate with people
Oh.
across the globe. What's that?
It's like background noise.
It's Doper. Doper, you try and make a comment?
Dave is not even here. Like we tagged him
well.
hours ago.
His mic, I think, was the background noise. Yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. It's like, look, it's not about science. It's not about philosophy. It's just the fact that you think that this universe has a purpose or it's meaningless. Those are the two options.
Okay.
I mean, do you believe we live in a meaningless, purposeless world?
I know what you mean by meaningless. Like I'm sure we can make meaning out of stuff. We have like the laws of
Yeah, but
logic.
there's the universe doesn't care one way or the other. It's just atoms.
What do you mean the universe doesn't care? That's like some pantheist like talk. I don't know. Like does the universe care?
But you think that there's no purpose behind this? We're just we ended up in these atoms arranged in this way.
You can have purpose. That's completely fine. There's like no problem.
You can have individual purpose, but as far as a grand purpose, it's meaningless. Those are the two options. Either the universe has a
the
meaning,
universe
or it's
doesn't have
meaningless.
like a brain.
Is there intent behind it, or is it just a coincidence? Like we just
I
happen to
don't
win the
know.
cosmic
I don't know.
lottery and end up in this scenario?
I don't know. Maybe we have like a deist god that doesn't give any. Doesn't give.
I mean, at least, yeah. The concept is, it's like, look, without God, you can say that there's really no meaning to any of this. Whether you live, die,
Even with like a
do good, do bad.
non-personal
There's
god.
Huh?
Even if there's like a deist god, right? Like a deism, like a non-personal god, there would still be no meaning. All of the meaning be.
Yeah, I mean, we can go down that path, but first we have to determine, is there a God or not, right? Because you can say definitively, if there is no God, then there is no meaning.
What do you mean by God? Like you just mean like some necessary existence?
Yeah, the necessary,
but a necessary
the unmoved being.
Could be non-personal, then like deism, right? Like they have necessary.
Sure. I mean, we can go down that path, but I want to know which one do you subscribe to, right?
I'm agnostic to all of these theories.
Well, I mean, if you're agnostic, then again, it's like, look, there could be a God, there could not be a God. Who knows, right?
I know,
we have to first establish. Is there a God or not?
Yeah, when you say God, it's a very broad term. Right?
Do you think that Epstein killed himself?
I don't know, but I don't know why that's relevant.
That's a funny question, man. Out of nowhere.
No, it's just it's the same line of reasoning, right? I mean, if you're gonna say, look, be a coincidence theorist, and you say, look, all these things just happen. There's nothing to see here. Move on.
Do you
right?
know that Epstein didn't kill himself?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying, like, look, what is that threshold by which you're gonna say that? Look, there's a conspiracy going on.
It could be a coincidence, but anyway. Only property possessing entity, then I would say I'm atheist. But by God, if you just mean like necessary existence, a quantum field, a non-personal God, yeah, I'm agnostic to that. But I'm not like
yeah, but we have to establish first. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not going to hold a position, right, then there's nothing to debate.
Sorry.
If,
I mean,
if
why
you're not gonna,
why do you have to, like, the problem here is, like, I don't know why you're doing this, but you don't have to know my position to present your position.
no. Well, I'm having a dialogue, right? It's not just it's not just the apologist here. There's also polemics, right? So it's like, look, you can't just come in here, basically just start throwing shade without actually holding a position
I'm
for
not throwing
yourself.
shade at all. They literally, like, pulled me into it. They're like, "Oh, you're an atheist. You're like a bad example." It's
Oh,
always
I
Navid.
mean,
He's always bad mouthing me. We should,
this
like,
is
take care.
possible. I won't I won't deny that might have
Navid
been
drags me into the convo. I wasn't even talking. Navid's like, "Oh, this is like an atheist. The atheists have arrived." And then he's like, "Oh, you like she's an example of like what not to be for the server." And then he keeps like insulting me and like dragging my name into the mud. It's not very nice.
It's possible.
I'm not here to. I wasn't here to debate. I just got
Alright,
dragged into
no.
it because he keeps like bad mouthing me.
All right. Well, who else do we have on? Anyone else want to?
I feel talkative today, bro. It doesn't happen often.
What's that?
I feel talkative today. Doesn't happen often.
Positive?
Talkative.
Oh,
Talkative.
talkative.
You
Yeah.
feel talkative. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. Wait. So, Manik, is there anything else you wanted to ask about this? Are you pretty clear?
No, I'm clear. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I would just restate our position that we are here as a final chance, God willing, where we can succeed. This is our last chance to redeem our souls and to worship God alone. God tells us in the Quran, chapter 12, verse 102, that the majority of people on earth, no matter what you do, will not believe. So that's out. So rejection of God is expected. Expect billions of people like Beatrice, right? They just don't say it. They don't talk about it.
Dude, do you see why I started talking? This is why, okay?
Why? Why are you ashamed of your position? I'm just I gave a
No, because you keep dragging me into.
neutral
He thought I
observation.
came in and I was throwing shade at your position, which I wasn't doing. You keep dragging me into it.
No
You
problem.
keep throwing shade
No
at me.
problem.
Guys,
Yeah,
let's
I'm
talk
just doing.
general.
Yeah, thank
Sorry.
you. So
Sorry, let's
God
just
says
talk
in
general.
chapter 12. Yeah, thank you. Chapter 12, 102, 103. The majority of people, no matter what you do, will not believe. So that's billions of Buddhists and billions of atheists or closet atheists that are too shy or scared to come out in the rejection of their parents' religion, right? Then, separate from that, the first step is believing in God, which is the prerequisite. You have to believe in God. It's part of the minimum requirements, right? You have to believe in God, believe in the last day, and lead a righteous life. If you don't do these three minimum things, you're out. So the first step is believing in God. Then God says in 12:106 that the majority of people that do believe in God do not do so without committing idol worship. Right? And that's the Christians worship Jesus, the Muslims worship Muhammad, Buddhists worship Buddha, or whatever.
You mean
Hindus
Sunnis?
worship. No, I mean the Muslims.
No.
Okay? It's not limited to just Sunnis. I'm talking about all the Muslims. Shias,
Yeah.
Sufis, whatever else exists, all of them. Okay? Then the rest worship Buddha, and then the rest already fell out because of atheism. So guess what? That's already over 75% of the world's population to ever exist is out. They're all destroyed. 75% can't make it no matter what. Please mute yourself if you're making noise. Who's
It's
that?
not me.
Who's typing? Who's typing?
That was me, my bad.
Yeah. So over 75% are out. What's funny is I think the Muslims are at or over 25% of the world's population already. So already they've been disqualified from being God's religion because God says the majority of people won't believe, and out of the remainder, they will not also, the majority will disbelieve. So that's 75% gone. So now out of the remainder of people that do believe in God, unfortunately, there's people that don't believe in the last day. So they believe in God, but they don't believe that there's going to be a hereafter. Those people are out too. Then you got people that do believe in God alone, but they don't lead a righteous life. They're out too. Right? So it's like, what are we left with? A very few number of people. Now, out of these people, remainder, many of them may be exposed to the Quran. And the Quran is the ultimate proof, the ultimate evidence from God, the ultimate message from God, the final scripture, right? And that's it. We need to live our life according to the Quran. It gives us the best results. And that's it. The bigger point I'm trying to make here is there's many off-ramps. Because even when you come within the Quran, you're like, oh, but, there's child pedophilia. Right? Whatever. I'm sorry, child marriage and pedophilia. That's bad, right? That's unethical, immoral. So you keep going, and there's these more and more off-ramps. But God willing, that's why we pray every day. We say, God, guide us to be on the right path. Because we want to be on the straight path, because each of these are exits from the main path. Does anyone have any questions about what I said or comments?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so oh, go ahead. So you want to say something? Go ahead. So this is why it's so essential to put our belief systems and our positions on trial, under reassessment, under reexamination. We have to reconsider our positions because the likelihood of being wrong is very high. Unfortunately, even though the likelihood of being wrong is so high, people always act, or the vast majority of people act as if they're right. This includes atheists and believers, and they're not willing to reconsider their positions. This is extremely problematic, right? That's really what it comes down to. And so even me or anyone that claims to believe in the Quran, they should be willing to put their beliefs on trial, because there's two outcomes. Either we leave our current position or we strengthen it. Either way, that's better for us. But to be stuck in a wrong position is the wrong place to be. It's not good. And so if you look at 99% of people on earth, they blindly continue whatever their parents or their society dictates to them. And that's just bad. I mean, we have T-Back, you want to unmute yourself and talk, you can speak to this. The fact that you're so obsessed to go to the Taraweeh prayers and hang out at the masjid with the Sunnis, you're under tremendous social
I haven't prayed
pressure
a single
to
Taraweeh
conform.
this Ramadan, bro.
Oh, thank God. Congratulations. But even then, you're still obsessed with spending time with them, right?
And
Yeah. So, I mean, we're the average of the 5 friends that we keep, right? So even if I claim not to believe in something, if I with certain behaviors or certain individuals, they're eventually going to rub off on me.
okay, but again, I don't think they're Sunnis on purpose. They just don't know better.
It doesn't matter. If they're sincere, they can be guided. And you're right there. You can give them the message, right?
Yeah, but I'm not there to talk about religion. I was there to eat because I was invited for the sunset
Yeah,
meal.
sure.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
cool.
if I have the time, I do speak about religion and COVID-19 mostly.
I guess.
Yo, Navid,
Yeah, what's up?
I have to agree with what you said there, especially when it comes to Sunnis or Shias or whatever, it's always important to not just like follow the rules, follow the Taraweeh prayers, whatever. It's always important to use your own intelligence and brain and ask yourself the question, why are you doing this, right? And not just blindly go to the mosque and blindly do it. I don't think that's
Exactly.
beneficial
Yeah.
at all.
I mean, some people just like performing extra prayers. If I, for example, if I feel like I have extra time, what do I do? Do I just do something else, or can I pray? That's what I think.
It should be as simple as that.
That there's no such thing as extra prayers. That's a satanic innovation. And we've already told you this 25 times, but you insist on it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if the messenger exactly said it. The video was quite how do I say this, foggy or like
He says you can't even do extra prostrations, let alone extra prayers. What are you talking about?
thing like that. Are you sure that's what he said?
Yes, he says do not prostrate extra in public, lest anyone think that's a part of the prayer or anything. We can't do any extra prayers. This is a prescription from God.
Wait, so can you perform extra prayers on private or no?
No, you can do extra prostrations in private after your prayer is finished. That's it.
Well,
That's interesting. Can you provide the proof for that, Navid?
Yeah, 4103 says that the contact prayers are prescribed for the believers at specific times. This tells me that it's a prescription decreed for the believers on specific times. This tells me it's like a prescription, like antibiotics. You don't benefit from taking more antibiotics. You have a set prescription that you have to take at a specific hour, and that's it. You can't tamper with it. You can't change it. You can't take more. That's just what it is. And the test, part of the test is to just hear and obey and accept it the way it's presented to you. That's it. The human being wants to add, modify, and change.
Worship
They treat it
at
like
fixed
vitamins,
times.
right? Yeah, exactly. Specific times.
Worship at fixed
It's a-
times have been enjoined on the believers. That's what it says.
Yes, the salat, the
Yeah.
contact prayers, not any kind of worship. You can worship God all day any way you want. But the contact prayers are for the believers at specific times.
It does actually specify fixed times.
And it actually says as-salat. It contains a definite article as a proper noun.
Yeah, the prayer.
The contact prayer, not just any prayer. Think about dua. There's a difference between the salat and dua. This is not just any supplication or any prayer. This is the contact ritual, the physical ritual contact prayer. Right? So the bottom line is that they're decreed as specific. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people, they treat it like vitamins. Like, okay, well, I'm getting vitamin C from oranges. I'm just going to take, I got the capsules. I'm going to eat some oranges, add more vitamin C. Or more vitamin D because I'm hanging out in the sun more. It doesn't, contact prayer doesn't work like that. That's for like supplication, for commemoration, which by the way, everyone here, I do suggest everyone show up for the commemoration this Friday at the Night of Destiny. The Night of Destiny is better than 1,000 months. I highly recommend everyone to attend. Especially if you don't have a separate community, it's going to be the entire night. The entire night of Night of Destiny is going to be, and praise God, there's 61 people signed up. You can go to the top tab events and hit interested. And I'll put the link for that in VC1-chat. This wasn't, yeah, go ahead.
So can we perform extra prayers on Laylatul Qadr or Night of Destiny or no?
No.
Oh.
You could just pray to God to save you.
Yo, Navid, do you think
Yes.
performing more prayer than necessary has an opposite effect or negative effect?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're following a God other than God, and that's a form of idol worship, and that nullifies all your works.
But your worship is towards God only.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's like the ablution. If I do 12 steps of ablution, who am I worshiping?
But
My
that's
intention is to worship God. Huh?
But the extra steps in ablution, those are for the main prayers.
Okay. I cannot
but-
fabricate a form of prayer, though.
Okay,
Fabricating a form of prayer and thinking it's legitimate is attributing falsehood to God.
yeah, and someone's asking me what's a good title for the video because he's recording the conversation.
Oh, was that conversation recorded? I kind of went on a whole like rant there. That was good.
Well, Tano
Tano's
is
asking-
recording.
That's good. 61 people signed up. Did you guys read? No, sorry, Tano. Females cannot be messengers. At least not officially. Did we read what JS wrote in the chat? It's kind of relevant. The probability of pulling out balls numbered 1 to 10 in order is so finite. Expand that probability to everything in the universe, including planets, gravity, water, the distance of the sun and the moon, from Earth to provide life on Earth, etc., etc. Exactly. I can even make it easier. There's only 52. There's only 52 cards in the deck. Okay. Any random shuffle of the 52 cards is going to be 52 factorial. It's going to be a unique sequence of cards that have never happened in all of card shuffling history. And that's just with 52 cards. Not more
morning,
variables, just that's right. That's right.
Good morning, guys. Hello.
Your sound is too low. Come closer to your mic.
And good morning, guys. How's everyone?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Did you want to argue Sunnism or no?
No, I don't want to argue today. I'm going to be
Okay.
chilling for a bit.
All right. I'm just gonna
I'm
put you
playing
on mute,
Fortnite, you
probably.
know?
Why is he muted?
Because he doesn't want to debate today. He's from the terrorist server.
Oh,
Then if you're never willing to debate us, don't go to Zizo and tell them, oh, I debated them. I beat them in debates. They had no answers. They had no responses. Get out of
I
here.
respond. Yeah, I respond to him, and then he keeps claiming that I dodged his question.
Yeah, exactly. That's all he says. Anyway, let's go back to the main point. The Taraweeh prayers are blasphemous. Innovation is satanic. We should avoid innovation at any cost. Like, just really stay away from it completely. That's it. That's the bottom line. Does that answer all your prayers? And does that answer your questions on this topic? Hello? Okay, so yeah, the point I was making is that when you shuffle a deck of cards, right, the sequence that you receive in the cards that you shuffled never existed in all of history. That's how low the probability is, right? The chance of human life coming from nothing is exponentially lower than that. 13 billion years is not a long time. Okay? What's up?
Time is also your enemy. The more time you have, the more chance you have for those molecules to degrade, you know?
That's an interesting point. So do molecules degrade over time?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Like if you work in a chemistry lab, like they'll tell you this is very time sensitive, it has to be kept in these conditions for the exact amount of time and not a minute more or less, right? So it's like things degrade over time. You know, like the universe is going towards entropy, it's going towards chaos, you know?
Wow. So it's finished then. I mean, for me, that's enough to know God exists. I don't even need to get to the Quran. It's over. It's literally over. Yeah.
Oh, it's over.
What was that?
I said, mashallah, it's over.
Are you ready to submit? You could change your life right now. You could literally turn your life around. Change that trajectory. Get out of that hellish trajectory and come to God.
I think I'm doing good. Thank you.
Can someone explain to me? Yeah, can someone explain to me how the Pascal's wager is wrong? Rashad explains why it's wrong. Why is it wrong, McClinton? I'm trying to understand. What's wrong with Pascal's wager? Because I would tell her, like, look, just believe in God and worship anything. You have nothing to lose.
Because it can be done. He's not here, so I'm gonna. That's fine.
It's like
Pascal
an
is not
infinite.
here.
There's an infinite number of like options. Like yours.
No, there isn't. No,
It
there
is.
isn't. Present them to me.
Okay.
No, there are.
Okay.
No, there isn't. There's only belief or
Okay.
disbelief.
Yeah, but like when it comes to like religion and what's
Yeah.
the nature of like the nature of God you're gonna pick, they can be like infinite number of like combinations, right? So like either like when you say Pascal's wager, you're only taking your religion into account, and you say, "Oh, be a submitter, you're gonna go to hell." But there might be like thousands of other options out there. There might be
No,
a
but
God
their
that
only
punishes you
option,
for.
their
There might
only
be a God
option
that
is
punishes you for being a
listen.
theist. There might be a God that.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's
Listen,
possible.
there's only one
Unless you can
option.
prove.
There's only one option, and that's to worship God alone.
Okay, mashallah, great.
Any
Good for you.
religion that tells you to worship other than God alone is a false religion.
Yeah, but
I think Beatrice is ready to take her shahada. She seems to be agreeing.
I think I'm
Oh, go ahead,
ready to
brother.
throw myself off like a cliff. But like when I listen to Navid's like bad
Peter.
argument, I'm ready to throw
Peter.
myself
I've
off
been
a
thinking
cliff.
about human psychology. Like, what does it take for someone to commit to God, and what does it take for someone to not to commit to God? It's really interesting. I'm fascinated with like the whole psychology element.
I wonder about you too sometimes.
You don't think my belief is correct? Let's put my belief on trial. Go ahead.
No, I do believe your belief is correct, but your behavior sometimes I wonder why.
Because you get mad at me for jailing people?
No, towards like the other people, you know.
Navid, don't let them convert you. Don't worry.
Convert me to what? To be fair,
atheist?
he's right. You're kind of sympathetic to hypocrisy, T-Mac.
I'm nice to people like gallopers. Fine, bro.
Anyway. Okay, mute yourself. So anyway, Beatrice, you have to worship God alone. So Buddhism would be out. Shintoism would be out. Mohammedanism would be out.
Yeah, but that's your like standard. Like you believe that your God
It's the
commands.
only, honestly, it's the only standard that makes sense. Think about it.
It's fine.
Think about it like this.
Fine, Navid, you're right. I'm
Is
wrong.
it?
Everybody
Hold on,
else
hold
is
on,
wrong.
hold
We're
on.
all
I want you to
stupid.
engage
She's
with
submitting.
my
She's
position.
submitting. Throw Quran at her.
Hold on. Right? So is it logical for anyone to have the natural instinct to worship Jesus as a child?
Yeah,
Is
just
that
like
logical?
just look up a refutation of the Pascal Voyage. I don't have time for this. You don't let me
No.
explain. You just
Yeah. Answer my question. Is there any logical basis or reason that anyone would worship anyone other than the creator of the universe as a natural instinct instilled in them from birth?
I don't believe like in some like fitra, like innate belief. That's like
There is.
nonsense.
There's
Idiosyncratic.
an innate. This has been proven. I mean, this is shown. There's plenty of studies on this.
Yeah, there is.
It's demonstrated that people, they're naturally inclined to believe in and try to connect with their creator.
Monotheism.
Look at thousands of years of human history. There's always been some kind of desire to connect with creator
You
of the
asked me about the
universe.
Pascal's wager, and now you're like going to like
But
innate
there
belief.
is.
Okay, the Pascal's wager is not about innate belief. That's just somebody
I'm
making a
not
case for
connecting
their
it to
religion.
Pascal. I'm not
Okay,
connecting
fine.
this to Pascal's wager. We already finished with Pascal's wager. Although I feel like, I don't know, Peter, if you could tell me why it's wrong or why Rashad says it's wrong. I never really understood it. Maybe I have to go watch it again.
No, I mean it's
Pascal's
belief.
wager, but
Yeah, it's just this is the whole concept. If you look at like say Christianity versus Judaism, is it faith or is it works? That's the distinction there.
oh, so Rashad says believing in just in case is not enough.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have faith and
okay.
work, so you have to have both.
Okay. So then what? Pascal's wager is limited to belief alone.
Yeah. If you just say, "Oh, for the it's not genuine belief, right?"
Okay.
Oh, this
so
is
then,
deep.
Okay, so then I would say then what do you have to lose if the Quran is directing us to the best possible lifestyle? Think about that. The best possible lifestyle, right? The safest lifestyle, the most fulfilling lifestyle. Praise God, right? Glory be to the one who subdued us for us. We got out of control of ourselves. We ultimately return to our Lord. God is telling us these things for our own good.
Like, did Rashad get the Pascal's
Beatrice.
wager like conflated or something? Because Pascal's wager is not just about belief; it's also about acting accordingly after you believe that God exists. But
Yeah,
anyway.
that's the whole point. If you
Yeah, but like the actions, it's not just belief. I don't know what Navid.
Well,
No,
I
no,
think,
that's
but
the
I
whole
do,
point.
I do
It has to be
remember
both.
Rashad saying that you cannot just believe, you cannot believe just in case. I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
So I do think it has to do with also having actions correlated. But go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not real belief. But Beatrice, what's the strongest argument you find that basically doesn't make you an atheist, but leans you towards agnosticism?
At this point, what doesn't make me an atheist? But like, like when I say atheist, I think I told you like it depends on the definition of God. Because a lot of definitions of God, I'm an atheist to them. But when it comes to like, if someone defines God like a pantheist or like a deist or like just somebody that believes in non-personal gods, like a quantum field, that's why I say I'm agnostic. I don't believe there's a personal God. Also,
What's the what do you find the most compelling argument for God?
so far, I don't know. At this point, I just have to have like some sort of personal revelation or something. I haven't seen any like good arguments with theism. Maybe, I mean, no. If I find a good argument for theism, I'd be a theist. If I find an argument convincing, I would take it. I don't know what Navid thinks I am. He thinks I'm sort of contrarian. If I find an argument, I would concede, but I don't.
I think I'd put you in the camp of the contrarian.
Yeah, good to know.
Okay, so again, I was saying what I was saying is, what do you have to lose? Don't engage in immoral acts. Don't engage in premarital sex. Don't drink. Don't use intoxicants. Don't eat pork. How is any of this detrimental to your existence? Don't lie. Don't steal. This is all good stuff. The Quran is guiding to the best stuff. Frankly, for me, this is just more reinforcement. How is it possible that a random dude in 7th century Arabia suggests the best political system ever, best living standard ever, and guides us to the faith with everything?
What's going on?
Who's trying to talk?
Me.
That's just
Yep.
more evidence for God.
Peace, Saja.
Peace.
What's up?
Yeah, so why what so Saj, remember we talked about Pascal's wager? So why don't you just have Pascal's wager but also act accordingly? If you believe accordingly and then you act accordingly and you do it just in case, then wouldn't that just put you in the same boat as us?
But it's not. Yeah, but it's not real
No,
belief. That's the whole point.
exactly the problem. The problem is that like I'm doing it only to be safe. I'm not doing it because
Yeah,
of
it's
actual
not. It's not
faith.
genuine belief.
But that's not good. You're saying that's not good enough, Peter?
I think
No.
Pascal's
You have to.
wager can be like useful as like a first step, but like it's not
I
enough
agree.
to go to heaven to just
So
go.
you can't so wait a minute. So you guys are saying you can't enter heaven with doubts?
Maybe.
You have
No, you
to
can't.
believe in
No.
God, right? Like the first requirement of that verse 265 is one, believe in God. Like if your belief in God is just in case and you don't really believe in him, then
That's the
like
thing.
Pascal's wager is good to help you, to bias you towards looking into religion, but it's not gonna save you, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, everything comes really down to probabilities. Like, how probable is it the Quran is real? Like 99.9999% for me. So that is more than enough to convince me to believe in the God. Now, someone can come up with a ridiculous explanation. Oh, what if God is lying to you? It's not a merciful God, or is playing games with you, tricking you that you actually should not believe in him. Like, these sort of ridiculous sort of theories, but at the end of the day, you do having that belief, I think, is like, putting you on the right side. If it's just because, oh, I want to be safe, then that's not a real belief, right? But yeah, like McClinton says, a good point to start, I think.
Hey, how do I say your name? McClinton? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's right.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, I see the topic is atheism versus submission. Are you guys talking about Pascal's wager?
Yeah. Well, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A point you said that I mean, regardless of the context, the Pascal's wager is not a means to be saved in whatever doctrine you believe. Rather, it's a means to push you into believing in religion, right? It's not going to save you, but like at the end of the day, what do you lose, right? I think that's what his main point was.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. It looks like she deafened though.
Oh, I see what it means now. Yeah, I didn't know what Pascal's wager meant. I had a feeling that I heard it before. And I just,
Praise
yeah.
God. Praise God for so much VC activity. Congratulations. Congratulations, brother Sajad. Thanks for
Thanks,
supporting
man.
us on here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
God bless
Gratitude
All right.
at last.
God bless Canada.
All right. So yeah, can we talk about this more?
One more.
Keep going, I guess.
Hmm. Do you guys that believe that you can just not have? Do you think faith is necessary to be a submitter, or no? It's just based on evidence.
So you're saying it would just be acts but no faith?
No, I'm not talking about that. Like, let's say someone has had to believe that, let's say the Jesus revived the dead by God's will. Like, they didn't observe that, but they had some faith in it. That's not the case with COVID-19, right? Like, we can observe it for ourselves. Do you think, even with, given how we believe in submission, we still do need an element of faith to become a submitter, or no? You can just like observe the evidence, and no need to rely on faith. You can just observe the evidence and
I
conclude
can
that yes, this is
I
it.
can give you something on this.
Mm,
I have something relevant to this. Let me put it
yeah.
in the chat. Hold on one second. Let me put it in VC2 dash chat. Hold on a sec. Read this. Sorry.
Does it go on by Rashad?
Okay.
Because that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I'm citing God's Messenger's commentary on this exact topic.
Yeah, I
I'm
read
putting
that.
it in VC2 dash chat.
Mm,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, read that.
There now exists physical evidence for a message from God to the world. This marks the advent of a new era in religion, an era where faith is no longer needed. There is no need to believe when one knows. People of the past generations were required to believe in God and uphold His commandments on faith. With the advent of the physical evidence reported in this book, we no longer believe that God exists. We know that God exists. Such knowledge is ascertained through God's final scripture, Quran, where an overwhelming physical evidence has been encoded. So this is actually what I want to discuss. So someone can say that COVID-19 could be from God, but it's not the God that you believe it to be. It's actually playing games with you. It's a trickster. So how would you reply to that?
Oh, there's only one God, and the attributes of God are expressed in the Quran. So they're very
But that's
universal
what it's saying.
attributes.
It says the author of the Quran, the God that we believe in, is playing games with you, right? He's just lying to you.
But but there's no alternative. There's nothing else for me to do.
Then what do you mean there's no alternative?
Like there's nothing else for me to do other than submit to the entity that's dictating, or the entity that's speaking to me in the Quran.
Yeah.
Like that's
No,
the
that's
only
not
thing I
what
can do.
Sajad is asking. So like, even if there's no alternative, that doesn't. So like, that thing that he just read, even if there's no alternative, that doesn't necessarily, like make you
I
know
mean, what
for
we
sure
believe
that
in is true. It doesn't mean what we believe in is true, right? So I think there's still an element of faith that we see the evidence is from God, but we put our trust in Him, right? Because yeah, I mean, someone can say, "Oh, it might have been the aliens. It might have been, I don't know, God, like a not a merciful God who's playing games with you, trying to trick you into hell." Whereas you should have, like, it was the opposite actually all along the way. You should have not believed in him. There was not enough evidence. You know, these sort of ridiculous questions. To me, uh, it does come down to faith that we do have, while we do see the evidence, we also have faith that, you know, we put our trust in God or whoever authored the Quran to some extent. Because if you have no faith, if it's just evidence, then anyone can make the argument that no, this is, you know, this could be also like there's other possible explanations that this could be from aliens, this could be from whatever, you know, God, but not the God that you believe it to be. You see what I mean? So do you think at this point we do need faith? And I'd like also to see what McClinton and Dude have to say about this.
So I think that code 19 proves that there is a God, right? But
Mm.
like I still think we need, like, we know that God exists, right? But like
Yes.
we still need to trust, and trust is faith. That's what it
Yes.
is, you know.
Yeah, that's what I believe as well. That in our religion we have both the belief and also the evidence. We need to sort of have that faith as well to make the leap. What do you think, Dude? I don't know if Dude is here or not, or Navid as well.
Oh, I'm here. No, I agree. I think it's like, look, faith means that it's going to be followed through. You know, despite the fact of you say you believe, you're certain this, you know, you still have to go through the ordeal and see how you react and behave in the situation.
Interesting. Navid, what do you think? Do you think there's no faith required? Navid is not here. Let's
I
see.
just said that at that point, you just, I don't know, like Rashad is saying, you pretty much know at that point. No, I
I think
guess,
what he's talking, it's not talking about the question I'm asking, it's talking about a different thing. Because like in the past, yeah, you just had to trust, you know, what you were just told, right? There was no really evidence for it. In that sense, yes. Now that we have evidence, we know that the Quran is true, it's from a higher being. But even then, you still do need to take a leap of faith to say, okay, it is from God. I mean, that is the most logical explanation. The other like there's some other ridiculous explanations that it was from aliens, right? The reason why we don't believe it's from aliens is, you know, because it's far more likely that it's from God, and we also have to have some faith. Like 99% is from God. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's addressing a different question, uh, sort of thing that Rashad is addressing.
How do you feel about what Rashad said and the verse that says you gain certainty by worship, not by like logic or code 19, but by worship of God?
That's a good question.
I think,
Um,
yeah, it's 1599. Worship your Lord in order to attain certainty, right? So I think that eventually it kind of just grows, right? Like there's different aspects of your religion that you need to like get into. It's not just the belief in God. Maybe you're sure about the belief in God, but there's different components of it that you need to grow in faith on, right? I don't know.
I think code 19 itself acts as a tool in the process of attaining the certainty, right? So like the more you worship God, the more he gives you insight to code 19 itself. You see what I mean?
But
According to like
but how did that verse apply before code 19? Are we saying it did not apply?
so it's not, yeah, I don't think that it was just code 19 that can prove God's existence, right? There's so many verses in the Quran say there's signs, you know, in the heavens and the earth that we pass by every day that proves God's existence. So all these signs existed.
The problem is what Rashad wrote is that people in the past did it on faith, and now we know. But like, couldn't people in the past have known through their
I
worship?
think the faith part has more to do with religion per se. Wouldn't you say so? Because like God is in us. God's belief is innately in us, like even before. Like when you talk to people who don't even know about God, they say, "Oh, I know God exists. I look at you know, the heavens and the earth. I remember my grandmother. She would say that I see the sun and I cannot say God doesn't exist." Right. So code 19 is more of a proving of the religion. You see what I mean? I cannot look at the sun and say, this proves the Quran, right? Or this proves the Bible. It doesn't.
But
I can look at the sun.
can I make a weird comment? Wasn't code 19 different back in the day? Because they had aleph counts that they did not believe to be kind of a gray area. But like we now have that gray area. So like isn't it
Are you
different
talking
now?
about the Hamza?
Yeah, like I think
Hmm.
it was after Rashad died that submission.org was like, no, here's the new, like, you know what I mean? Like now it's kind of a grayer area than it was on his time, right?
Well, one thing I can tell you is that there's more criticism of Code 19 existing now than it did before, and there's more evidence for it. You see what I mean? The more we do research, the more the enemies also do research, try to disprove it. So it grows, right, from both sides. Satan is, at work 24/7, not sitting around doing nothing. Same way, our brothers and sisters are doing research, he's doing his research as well. So I can't really say that the evidence is stronger or weaker, but I can imagine depending on your situation, you could have been more likely to accept submission. Let's say you were in Massachusetts with their shot for 10 years. You knew the guy. There was no internet to look any materials against him. You would be more likely to accept him than if you had access to internet like now. You see what I mean? So it really depends on the situation of the person to say, oh, is the evidence stronger or not? You see what I mean or no?
Well, yeah, but like that kind of like proves the point that like people now seem to have less reason to accept him than people in his time, you know?
They have, I think, less reasons and more reasons at the same time. Like, yeah, less reasons, for example, more criticism, right? And some more reasons, because we have found, new aspects of Code 19, like the hominem counts and even more. Or the sod counts by the other guy, Berker. And even now, there's more need for Code 19, especially because of the different qira'ats coming up and more people getting educated about them. So there's more of a need for it at this point than it existed. Like 40, 50 years ago, no one knew about the qira'ats except maybe the scholars. Now everyone is kind of like catching on. Like even the average person is totally heedless, but some people who are doing research are kind of like, oh, what the heck is going on in here? How come we have different versions of the Quran with different letters, different words with different meanings? What the hell is going on in here? So this would require us to solve this issue using Code 19, which again gives us more reasons to believe and need it. Um, yeah, it's there's different components.
Yeah, I agree. I gotta go pray for
all
some
right.
people.
Yeesh.